Damn. Go.
Alright guys, how's it going? It's EastBayAnglers, and today we're doing something that we've been doing a few videos of lately, and we're going to go ahead and break down another lake. This time we're going to talk about Quarry Lakes in Fremont, California. Specifically, when we refer to Quarry Lakes, because it's many lakes, we're referring to Horseshoe Lake. And we're talking specifically today about trout fishing, the top 5 bank fishing spots, and we've got a map right here in front of us that we've filled out and marked with 5 red circles that mark and indicate the best 5 locations and the areas that you want to try to focus on casting in and fishing in for the most part when you're fishing for rainbow trout at Horseshoe Lake in Fremont, California. Alright guys, so this is one of those Bay Area lakes that's notoriously tough. It's a difficult lake and a lot of people struggle. Alright guys, so consistently catching numbers and quality fish at a Horseshoe Lake is difficult for most anglers. One of the reasons for that is Horseshoe Lake is actually joined with a tunnel. So some of these fish actually go to Rainbow Lake. So Rainbow Lake gets a lot less pressure, but we'll talk about that lake later on in a different video. But some of those fish will spread out, and from time to time it feels like they'll put a bunch of fish in Horseshoe. You're just not catching, and that's just that way the lake is. It's very difficult. It's one of those lakes that's a tricky lake, and if you're not doing a lot of the things that you need to do right, you're not catching fish. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and focus on spot location number 1. Spot location number 1 is right next to that fence line, which is all the way north towards the beach, the swimming area. Right on the other side of that fence where you can fish, it drops off a bit, and that's an excellent spot. There's not too many snags. It's pretty awesome, great spot. Get there early because it's definitely a popular location. As far as when you're fishing Horseshoe Lake and this lake specifically, water clarity is generally good. So I go with lighter line. I try to go with that 4 to 6 pound monofilament per liter. Just give me an advantage. Location spot number 2. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and talk about spot location number 2. This location is south of the boat launch, and it's on the Old Creek Trail, and right there where that arm opens up in the mouth is a really productive rainbow trout fishing spot. That water drops off just like location 1. But actually one of the things that's consistent with all the spots that we have marked on this map is they're all access to somewhat deeper water. This spot particularly, you want to cast out as far as you can. There's a particular channel. These fish will go back and forth. These rainbow trout will just circle and go back and forth through this channel. So that's a really good spot. Alright, so one of the things about spot location number 2 and spot location number 3 is you just want to cast out as far as you can. And that's because Horseshoe Lake is a relatively shallow lake. Moving is very important. These spots are hot and the next second they're not. So it's unlike other lakes in the fact that I would spend less time at each spot before moving on. So as far as spot location 2 goes, that pretty much sums it up. Spot location number 3 is the same as spot 2 pretty much. Spot location number 4 is right off a point, which is north of the fruit tree grove area. This is where they grow some rare fruit. It's a small little island in the center of the Horseshoe, and it's south of the main lake entrance. So if you guys walk to that area and you guys fish off that point to the north, casting north, it doesn't matter, short, medium, long, gap. All right, guys. So one of the things that makes spot location number 4 so good is you're not going to have as much competition. You're not going to have as many people. It's going to be less populated, and you're not going to have people rod to rod and person to person on the bank. You're not going to have to really get there too early to get the spot. All right, guys. So one of the things about spot location number 4 that I really like is it's not as popular. It's not as populated. It requires a bit of a walk to get to, and these things make it a kind of a less appealing to most anglers. So you're gonna definitely not have as much pressure there as you would in spot locations 1, 2, and 3. That's for sure. That's what makes that location really awesome, and it's just as productive as all of those other spots. Move on to spot location number 5, last but not least. And this is a harder area to access. This requires you to walk north of the lake and then east on the Western Trail, the Western Pacific Trail. And one of the things that makes this particular area so hard to access is the steep cliff that you have to kind of climb or just yeah, scoot down as you go because it's really dangerous. So that spot has access to really deep water, and just east of that spot is the planting tube of which they plant their stock trout. So that area, for some reason, they like to stay around that area for the 5 to 7 days after they're planted. They will stick around there, and that's why that spot is so consistent and can be so killer at times. All right, guys, so just remember when you're fishing Horseshoe Lake and when you're fishing Quarry Lakes in general, you want to be going lighter line. You want to be going fluorocarbon. You want to be going monofilament leader. You want to be really allowing yourself to have every advantage. You want to have longer rods. You want to have that ability to cast out as far as possible from the bank. You want to have rods that have light action that are going to allow you to feel real sensitive bites, because sometimes these planted fish bite real sensitive. They bite very light. They're not really aggressive, and they don't just take that bait and run and swallow it every time. So sometimes it's important to have a little bit lighter action on that rod. It's also good to have that when you hook into a bigger fish. And Horseshoe Lakes and Quarry Lakes in general is known for big trout getting caught out of there. So you guys be prepared to hook into a big one and have your drag set right, because that's key. But all these things are pivotal. All these things play a huge part in success and failure when you're fishing Quarry Lakes and Horseshoe Lake in general. So I hope this helps, guys. I hope this helps you guys catch more rainbow trout. I hope you guys go there in the next few months. They're going to be planting a ton of trout, so you guys should have a bunch of fish in action ahead. And I wish you the best. EastBayAnglers, thanks you for watching.